don't know. You can't have a lot of confidence in a Democrat named Nixon anyway. So, that's kind of a strange thing. We got, all right, so speaking of politics, let's get through this. Because some of the stories here I don't understand. Missouri politics is complicated. The outsider looking at it goes, what? A picture of what, where, who, when? I have no idea what's going on here. To help me with that, we have Jason Rosenbaum from the Daily Tribune. Would you welcome him, please, explaining a short primer of Missouri politics. How are you? You didn't have to dress, Jason.
I dress to impress.
Yeah. What are you, about 18? How old are you?
I'm about 17 and a half.
17 and a half.
I do have a funny story about that, if I can quickly do that.
Go right ahead.
I was standing in with the Governor Blunt's chief of staff one day with a reporter from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and I was telling his chief of staff about my trip to Italy when I was 18, and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch turns to me, what was that, 2 years ago? And I had to say, no, that was 4 years ago. So.
They're just jealous.
They are. They're jealous of my youth and inexperience.
Yes. And they like your suit, too, I think, is what they...
Yeah, I bought it at Dillard's, which is...
Is Dillard's still going?
Phyllis Stiller?
Oh,
I don't know. But I
don't
bought...
do shtick, Jay, so that's my job.
I know.
You're a political reporter.
I am a political reporter.
Gosh darn it. So act like what?
Yes,
Young man?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Young man? Is that hard, though, being young or youngish looking and getting the respect in some of those circumstances?
Well, all the other reporters there are probably old enough to be my dad, and you just have to work hard and be serious.
And one of them might be. That's the scary thing.
That is the scary thing. One day I might find that out. I don't know. But as long as you work hard and do your job well, I think they respect what you're doing.
Yeah.
So.
You must have, how old were you when you got your job at the paper?
I was, I think, 21, 22.
That's
something
really
like
great. So that was a good starting job.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. You're like a savant.
A savant.
A journalism savant.
Either that or I'm just extremely lucky, or I bribed the editor or something like that.
Yeah. Are you from Missouri?
No, I'm from Evanston, Illinois, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's a great place, and I'm actually a really big Milwaukee Bucks fan. They did pretty bad this year, but next year we're going to draft Greg Oden.
Yeah.
No, we're going to draft Greg Oden, and we're going to be good. So, anyways, enough about that.
It's overrated. Come on, he plays for Ohio State.
Yeah.
How good can he be? Okay.
No, not that good.
There are Kansas, if you want to know. So anyhow, this thing, politics here is confusing, and particularly confusing is because a lot of conservatives are using liberal terms and turning them upside down to defend their positions, such as intellectual diversity is now a conservative cause, but it doesn't mean diversity. It means the opposite of that.
It means it's this bill that is being sponsored by this representative from Chesterfield, Missouri, and it would force universities to send a report to the General Assembly showing the steps they're taking to ensure this, quote, intellectual diversity, which means anything from making sure speakers aren't getting heckled, like you, for example, are just making sure that, all viewpoints are put out. Opponents say this is just sort of a backdoor effort to obliterate liberalism on college campuses. So.
Right, which is pretty much what it is. I mean, now you can't say that because you're a reporter, but I mean that's sort of
that's what opponents of this bill have been saying for sure.
Yes. What do you think about that?
What do I think? I don't think anything. I'm a reporter.
That's true, isn't it? Really, when you think about it. Or when you don't think about it, that's true. That's a good thing. Okay, so and then the other one, intellectual diversity. Then what's the other one? The other buzz term? Oh yeah, equal rights or civil rights. Does not mean equal rights or civil rights in the traditional sense.
It's buzzwords are words that can be turned around and flipped around for whichever side is using it. Civil rights for conservative might be different civil rights for a liberal. I mean, it's just the.
But in this case, it's actually a movement, really, across the country because it's happening everywhere. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's a conservative
Are you sure
conspiracy,
you're not calling it?
But basically it is because it's an organized effort around the country to get this sort of legislation passed. In this case, it's anti-affirmative action, right?
I believe I read somewhere that they are going to try to put that on the ballot for the next election cycle.
Yeah, and that of course is known as equal rights.
For
For whites. Equal whites is really what it is. They call it equal whites legislation. Okay, I'm just saying, you're a reporter, you can't comment on it. What I really don't understand is why on my website I keep getting these pictures of a legislative aide, a pregnant legislative aide.
You're getting those on your website?
Someone is emailing me. I have no idea what this is about. Can you explain to me what this story is about?
Well, I will briefly. There was a controversy about, as you said, nude pictures circulating throughout the Capitol, but it was a really short controversy.
Oh, it's all over now?
It's pretty much done.
Okay, I'll delete it then.
It was like a 2-day story. Really.
Oh, okay.
I think the longer story was that the ag director was forced to resign a couple months ago because of sexual harassment. That was a far bigger story that's still sort of going on right now.
And that was related to this picture?
No, unrelated. Oh. Totally unrelated. But that was one.
She looked good, I'll say that.
I have not seen the pictures, nor do I want to.
No. You're young yet. You don't need to see that kind of thing. Plenty of time for you to see that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Clock is ticking for governor's agenda is one of your stories here.
It is.
We've got the governor here and his agenda. And part of it is that student loan thing, which is very confusing, once again, to outsiders. What do they call it? Mohela? On wheels. It's Mohela on wheels.
Opponents of it have called it, Mo Steela, Mo Wanna Make a Deala. I know it sounds funny, but it's true. I can sort of explain it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
It's
because we have a squirrel here who'll be happy.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Very large squirrel. We'll take that apart.
This plan was put forth about a little over a year ago. It sells assets from the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority and uses the proceeds from that to fund capital improvement projects throughout the state's universities. It's encountered quite a bit of turbulence over the last year and a half, and recently, before there was a lot of capital improvement projects that were going to the University of Missouri, including a multi-million-dollar health sciences center. That was taken out due to concerns that building would be utilized for embryonic stem cell research. There are a lot of legislators who don't want anything to do anything.
But the governor does. The governor supports.
The governor is a supporter. He was a supporter of Amendment 2, and he was the one who put forward it. But he took it out, leaving a $31 million cancer hospital that was on the list. But during that aforementioned filibuster you were talking about, where the Senator Chuck Graham of Columbia was filibustering the bill along with Jolie Justice of Kansas City, those projects were taken out, and now the University of Missouri, the flagship campus of the state, will not receive any capital improvement projects from this multi-million-dollar plan. So.
Okay, now explain that to me. There's this Mohela thing, as I understand it.
Yes.
And
it's an agency that provides low-interest student loans.
So this is, in a nutshell, is like all the politics of Missouri, all sides, coming together and shifting ground and looking for higher ground, and all at the expense of students, basically, or student loans.
The opponents of this plan believe that once you sell off assets from this agency, they will no longer be able to, or at least will be severely hamstrung from giving low-interest student loans to students, which helps, obviously, people go to college. Proponents say that, building these capital improvement projects will do wonders for this university. But the plan has changed umpteenth times since it's been introduced last year. But it did pass the Senate, and I think both sides are pretty agreed in the fact that it's probably going to pass the House and could become law very soon.
Yeah.
And then there'll probably be lawsuits over it. So it's just sort of the never-ending legislative story, so to speak.
So it's Missouri politics in a nutshell.
That is Missouri politics in a nutshell.
Interesting.
A turtle on a fence post, as you said.
A turtle on the fence post. Now, this one, House bill aims to check for illegal aliens. There are illegal aliens in our very departments.
Apparently there are.
Yes.
A couple
in the State Department.
In the State
Department. I have a list.
What is it, 44 people, 230 people? Is this change?
What is this story now? This is
there's been
cleaning crews or something?
Yeah,
Is that what it was?
there was, usually the governor has a press conference, in the afternoon or the late morning. That night, or actually after I had left the Capitol, I get an email saying he's going to have a press conference at 7 p.m., which meant, I had to...
What time did you leave?
I left at about 6 from my house in Columbia, and I was like, I called the press secretary, and I was like, is this really worth, going all the way back for her? And she's like, yes, it's really important. And it turned out that they had caught a few dozen janitors who were undocumented workers cleaning several office buildings in Jefferson City, and they signed a executive order firing the contractor for that and making sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
With that bill that you have right there, it would trying to refresh my memory. I think it would mandate that they would have to ask whether a person who's arrested is a illegal alien.
Yeah. Was that in Nixon's office? Wasn't there something as well?
Well,
was that the same story?
Nixon also sent a letter to Governor Blunt saying
that he would not hire.
Yeah, that I'm not going to let these people clean in the office building unless you do a background check. So it's
it's quite a threat.
Yeah,
not going to clean the office building.
Yeah, every couple of minutes, Nixon and Blunt are at odds over something.
Do they not like one another as individuals?
Well, they're going to be running against each other next year, most likely, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Okay. Photo flaps bars political skirmish. Okay, we did that one. Memo fueled photo story. Oops, did that one. Nixon bars cleaning crews. Okay, we got that one. Changes favor photo ID bill. Student loan thing. Okay. Ideology measure wins of intellectual diversity. Did that one. Midwifery. Midwifery.
Who loves midwifery here? Well, some people don't. Especially Senator Chuck Graham, who
he's opposed to midwifery.
He is opposed to this bill that would legalize midwifery in this state.
He's a liberal, isn't he?
He is a Democrat. I try not to characterize people as liberal or conservative or communist or fascist.
You're a good man.
Maybe.
So you're saying he's a fascist? He's a fascist.
No.
Oh, he's a communist.
No.
Okay.
I think he's a Whig, actually.
He's a. That's why they shouldn't send you guys to school. Comments like that, cracks like that.
Yeah.
So midwifery, why would he be opposed to midwifery?
He feels that this bill does not put enough safeguards into the practice, and
it's going on for millions of years, well, thousands of years. I mean,
he wants
midwives who've been with us for.
Isn't that a great word?
Midwife. Yeah.
Midwife.
Yeah. He was caught in midwife. I like that.
He is opposed to it for several reasons, as I said. One, he doesn't feel that this bill provides enough medical safeguards.
Yeah.
He said, I think in that article, there are more regulations regarding manicurists than there would be in this bill.
Well, let them give manicures as well. Fold it into the bill.
And they actually voted for this bill when he wasn't in the chamber. They voted for it initially. So
did it pass?
It passed the first vote, but it would need another vote to get to the House. And I'm sure as soon as he found that out, he would be there and start filibustering again. In the Senate,
he's got to stop doing that.
In the Senate,
he's doing that too much.
He has done it a couple times lately. He has.
He ain't Shakespeare. Let's face it.
He ain't Shakespeare. Have you listened to him filibuster before?
Shakespeare, no. But.
Yeah. Well, I concocted a time machine and did hear him filibuster. It was quite marvelous. In the Missouri Senate, and as in any senatorial body, the filibuster is used quite commonly to block legislation. Usually, for smaller bills like the midwife bill, whenever they do that, it pretty much signals a death knell for the bill. Although for the Mohila bill, as we were talking about before, they actually used a rare procedure to stop the filibuster called calling the previous question. Only been used a handful of times during the Senate's history.
Couldn't they use a rare procedure in midwifery?
I don't know if that's gonna. I don't think they're gonna use that for that. I think it's just. They just use it for, quote, special circumstances.
Yeah, when a baby's being born.
When a baby's being born, for example.
Well, Jason, I want to thank you. You really cleared up a lot for me here. It's a very perplexing but interesting world of Missouri politics. I have
It
to say.
is.
One of the more interesting places to come to and scratch your head.
I end up scratching my head quite a bit, just following it myself, and that's my job to follow it. So.
Yeah, and you do a good job, actually. I've enjoyed reading your columns. Jason Rosenbaum, ladies and gentlemen. He's the man on the beat at the Capitol, trying to help us make sense of filibustering midwifery. If you're having a midwife, you don't want to filibuster in the middle of it. That's all I can say. That's all you need. That's all you need with all the turmoil and aggravation going on here.